begins to fade now, and I feel like I'm losing time, but I don't know how I'm here. The sunlight has turned to gray, and I feel like I'm losing love again. I don't know how I'm here. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna breathe. And it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I wanna need. And it's you that I wanna need. And I know now we're getting older. The world we built is slipping through our fingers. We're running out of time. But you are the one I've chosen, and I won't lay still, living left behind, imprisoned by this love. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. I could feel your heartbeat. I could feel somewhere you're looking down. 'Cause it's you I'm loving, and it's you that I Felt a wave, actually was blind. Miss up all the facts. Who am I? Why? There's so many questions. Where will I go tonight? Jumped out of my skin. Struggle to survive now. Struggle to survive now. Struggle to survive now. Struggle to survive now. Struggle to survive in my soul, never be filled out. I just wanna know, where is the way out? Should I run away? Fight alone or back down? Important only one thing. Struggle to survive now. Struggle to survive now. Struggle to survive now. Struggle to survive now. Struggle to survive
And with that, welcome everybody here to the TG Diamond League. We got something exciting coming your way. It's going to be the quarterfinals, and of course it's playoffs time. We have none other than today. It's the caster Domat and Ioria joining us for this adventure here on the twitch.tv/connecting esports. So welcome to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
So we have something exciting coming up. As I said, it's going to be, well, as you can probably guess by the stream title today, Wash Esports versus AFK Hotel Esports, and they are looking for something really, really fancy in a best of 3. And we'll have a look at the standings, and I think Dermot can walk you through how the groups have finished.
Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious how the groups have finished. We're looking at an underdog situation against one of the stronger teams in the first group stage. We're looking at the Rush Esports, who were fairly dominant in their run for the first place. I think they haven't even dropped a single game, like 7 games, 12 points, maybe just some games in the brackets. But then again, they were really dominant in their run thus far, and going in against AFK Hotels. They barely made it into the playoffs. It's going to be a tough one, I think.
Yeah.
Looking back at the group
Well,
stages.
speaking of playoffs, we can also show you how the standings are looking for our playoffs when it comes to the bracket exactly, and not just the group stage. So this was the group stage that you're seeing on your stream right now. And if you have a look at the beautiful brackets right now, you can see that Rush Esports is in quarters number 1 versus AFK Hotel Esports, and today as well being played simultaneously will be Servers Esports versus CE Mist, and tomorrow we'll have a look at the ELG Sports versus the Invincibles, and of course Element Stray Dogs versus Timely Grace. Very good competitors. All of these guys have been top of their group in the top 4. That's why they're here today, and they're not just playing for glory but also for some money, because the finals are both of those competitors given with a lot of prize pool. Now, semifinals will be coming along this week as well as the finals, so stay tuned for those news. If you want to get all the latest news, join our social media and follow us everywhere. It's mostly Connecting Esports everywhere, besides on Twitter there's Con Esports, and of course if you want to join the community and be a part of us, it's going to be discord.me/Connecting Esports. And now Ioria and Dermot, you have done a little bit of background checking, so anything notable you want to already give us away, or should we wait for the draft?
I'd like to give this one to Ayora.
So a lot of these players stand out to me as having very, I don't want to say weighted champion pools, but they certainly have their favorites. So just for example, we see in the bot lane of AFK Hotel Esports, we have Trixie with that 190 games on Draven this season. I think his next after that is about 20 or 30 on Senna.
50,
so it'd be interesting to see if that sparks a ban, or whether Rush Esports are saying, we see you've got these very comfortable champions, but we don't care.
Yeah, I'm just looking in here. Did you guys manage to get into the lobby already?
We are.
Yeah, in the lobby.
Okay, can you tell them to make one space, because I'm late. And then as soon as that is done, you can also invite me to the client, Dermot. You have me.
Yes, there we
Yeah,
go.
you got room now.
They also made a decision to go through Pentakill for their draft, so that's going to be a fairly quick one. I don't know if they've already sent the spectator link to you, Jason. Nope. No, we just have to wait for that one.
Yeah.
I can just copy paste that again. There you go.
Sure, thank you. Very much appreciate. So with that being said, we are ready for that one. Let me just give them the go. There we go. And yeah, well, I'm looking forward to today. Rush Esports versus AFK Hotel Esports. Underdog versus top dog. Let's see how this one plays out as we are heading into this virtual draft.
I do like an underdog story myself, so it'd be really, really cool to see a best of 3 with some really, really close games.
Cool. One of the teams is already ready here, as we see. Waiting for the second one to ready up, and then we can have a look at what they have in mind for the draft today in this best of 3. We have a lot of familiar faces here in the Twitch chat. Welcome to everybody. We see you, and I hope you have your connectors ready, because today is a big betting game. Don't forget, we put the limit of maximum amount betting at 100k, so don't do bet all if you're not looking to lose everything, unless you're very confident, of course. There you go, Connecting Esports showing you how to do a check on your points, with exclamation mark points, as we are waiting for the last team to ready up. Then we shall be good to go.
So, going into the champion select already, even before they've started, what do we expect from bans? Well, we've already listed a little bit of what we wanted to expect. We see a lot of OTPs coming out from both teams. So, are they going for the OTP bans? Are they going for the general bans? Not an awful lot has changed since last patch, except that, well, Lilia is still disabled, so we won't even be seeing her on the Rift.
Yeah, the OTPs, there's a part of me that doesn't want them to get banned. But that's just a little part of me that just wants to see the champion mastery that these both teams have worked for. I want to see that play out in these games.
Well, it looks like it's instantly going to get jinxed, because most of the OTPs are getting banned out right now.
Yeah, we do see that Rengar, that Draven, both gone against the side of AFK Hotel. I can't say I'm surprised.
Nah, neither for the other side. Volibear and Akali, a really dangerous flex pick on the side of Rush Esports, since both mid and top lane played that champion. So that's at least a little bit of pressure out of the way when drafting against an Akali.
Yeah, we did actually see both Avers and Not Actually Blind both being fairly comfortable on that Akali. Not Actually Blind holding about a 62% win rate this season. So actually a decent threat taken out of this game, both mid and top, against Rush Esports. We're going to see that first pick locked in as set for the side of Rush. this could actually be both top or support or jungle. I see all three of these players, both Avers, Shady, and Tom Kick, all being very comfortable set players in their respective roles. So I like this as an open flex pick for the side of Rush.
Yeah, the draft is going really fast. We were still talking about the set pick. Instantly, we see the Karma and Ezreal getting locked on the side of AFK, and then Rush instantly responding with the Kog'Maw and Soraka pick. Not wanting any of that poke of the Ezreal and Karma coming through in their lane, wanting to go for the for the sustain and late game scaling game. As probably all of you know, Ezreal is still an outstanding pick. The only nerf that he has received in the past couple of months is a little bit of cooldown that he got extra on his E. Makes him a little bit less safe than he used to be, but the damage didn't get touched. So his scaling is still really on point, but Kog'Maw into the Ezreal can be a real tank melder, and not only the melder of tanks, because while looking at his damage output mostly from his W in combination with most of the time I play the Rune King, sometimes a Mirror Mana if you want to get it spicy up in there. It's going to be a lot. Not even mattering who he's up against. If you throw him against the full armor Ornn, he probably wouldn't care.
Yeah, and we do see that Olaf picked up by the side of AFK as our last pick before we go into the second ban phase. Seeing the Yuumi denied from side onto the side of AFK, thinking maybe that's a Karma top, could be a Karma support as well, but they don't really want to face into the possibility of that Ezreal Yuumi. And we see Orianna as the last ban against Rush.
I think so, some of these bans are just really standard, right? Trundle is fairly strong when it comes to melting tanks, which is something that he can help set up Kog'Maw whenever it's necessary. Orianna these days really popular, both with the tier build and the Hextech GLP build. A lot of wave clear, a lot of scaling potential also in the mid lane. You don't necessarily have to draft Azir or Corki these days to get that scaling. On the other side, it's fairly notable that they're respecting a 444 game Zoe OTP. I think
480 I had down, but yeah, either way, a lot of Zoe games for was he? Sorry if I get that name wrong. Yeah, for the mid laner of AFK Hotel. I'm not surprised to see that banned out. Zoe being, a really, really popular pick just in general right now, especially in pro play as well. And with mid laner of AFK Hotel having so many games of Zoe, I'm not surprised to see that taken away.
Yeah, and I'm already starting to like the draft from Rush, because if this Shen comes through, I think we have one of the more underrated champions of the past couple of patches. He did receive some love. He did get some extra shielding off his passive, which is a really quality of life change for Shen, since most of his top lane matchups at level 6 will gain an ultimate that really gives them an upper hand when it comes to trading in lane. And while Shen's ultimate is not necessarily something that's great for him, but can really help out teammates. And well, looking at the Soraka already in that team, it would be so much support for Protect the Carry comp, but it looks like Rush for now have changed their mind and actually went for the Rumble and the Zed.
Yeah, I liked the Shen a lot more than I liked the Rumble pick as well. It leaned into the classic Protect the Kog'Maw comp, something that's been around for a very, very long time. But Rush deciding actually they'd rather go for these more aggressive picks. We see a Rumble and a Zed both locked in. Be interesting to see how AFK pick into this. So their last pick is going to be either support or their top lane. No, it's going to be the support, isn't it? Because we see the Kled in that top lane.
It's either support or mid
lane. I'm dumb
on where Karma's going. Oh no, no worries. It's all fine. Red 5 going with a counter pick to the mid lane is fairly standard. Looks like it's going to be the Zed on the other side. I don't really know why the decision was made to pick up the Zed. I do get that comfort picks in general are better than having counter picks, but it kind of feels weird picking Zed into a team where, in general, Olaf is fairly tanky. Same thing goes for Kled, and try your best catching an Ezreal with the amount of mobility that champion got. Like, it's only 3 seconds he got onto that E, but he can still jump whenever it's necessary. So it's going to be a difficult one for this set, and I kind of feel like they counterpick themselves with it.
Yeah, it felt like an interesting pick for Rush. Especially considering that AFK had that counter pick. Going with Zed blind felt a little bit aggressive, a little bit. I'm not really sure what the word is I want, but AFK going to return it with the Galio pick. I'd be surprised to see Rush get too much from this mid lane. Possibly see a lane swap.
Yeah.
Maybe they prefer the Rumble against the Galio. Maybe they prefer the
Well,
Zed.
We will find out once we hit the champion selection, actually, where they have to log in. And I will direct your attention in the meantime, as these guys are going to go out to the same picket bands we just saw, to the Twitch chat. And if you have a look at the Twitch chat right now, you can see that, for example, the betting has been opened. So beautiful connectors all coming our way just to bet and predict the outcome of this game. Make sure to give it an exclamation mark points before you give a bet, just to make sure that you have at least a minimum amount of 1,000 points to participate in this bet. If you do so, feel free to bet on the blue side with exclamation mark bet blue and then any amount between 1,000 and 100,000, or bet exclamation mark bet and then red and then the same thing for that amount. And you have yourself a bet. And at the end, after 10 minutes, we will close the betting and we will have a look at the game. And at the end of the game, you shall be rewarded or, well, lose all of your points. Gambling is an addiction, so careful kids, but here it's just connectors, so feel free to do so.
Yeah. And with those wise words from our daddy Jason coming out in the chat, yeah, I beg your pardon. We are actually wanting to go into a little bit of a more in-depth view of these champions selected teams. AFK, to me, looking for a really standard front-to-back composition. We see a really nice amount of engage coming out from an Olaf and a Kled, can be followed up with the heroic entrance from the Galio. And well, I think the Ezreal Karma combination is fairly self-explanatory. Their laning phase is really strong, coming in with a lot of poke. And then Ezreal in the end just skills so well. A really nice self-peeling ADC. Not your classic style ADC where all you have to do is command auto attack. He also has a lot of skill shots in his kit. But if you can use it the right way, he can be a real force to be reckoned with. Just because he can kite back, he can kite up, he can go in aggressive, he can go back defensive, and it's going to be a real job for Rush to catch him out of position because he probably has Flash and Arcane Shift under his control. Then looking at the Rush composition, we already spoke a little bit about this with the Shen pick not locked in. I do, in a way, understand the Rumble pick. You don't want to give that champion to your enemies because Rumble actually is a real big counter to a protected carry comp with a carry like Kog'Maw. Really a mobile champion, and when the equalizer comes down, that can be a huge threat in a team fight because Kog'Maw has nowhere to go unless Flash is available. Then the rest of the composition is actually fairly standard. The main question is Rumble going top or mid? Same thing goes for Zed, because Zed into Galio is not the best matchup. Neither is into Kled, so it really depends what Rush prefers in this situation. There's still a flex possibility of Rumble going into the jungle, but like we've seen in the Champions League, it is Rumble top and Zed in the jungle. I wonder how Rush is going to come out of this, since the Kog'Maw composition is really strong, but they really need to be able to lock down this Ezreal before it deals huge amounts of damages. Same thing kind of goes for the Galio, but the Galio is more follow-up and burst, not necessarily consistent.
Yeah, both teams having a lot of potential. I want to highlight on to this top lane we talked about, and about the Rumble pickup over the Shen or over anything else. And actually, what I want to look at is the fact that Rumble was picked after Kled.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure it was much of a denial pick in the sense that maybe Ava's
if I may cut in, Avas is known for his Rumble plays. He has dominated in previous seasons with Rumble in the top lane and his jungler picking Jarvan. That was like the go-to combination that they were running, like Jarvan Rumble.
Often. Yeah, it's a Cataclysm with Equalizer combination.
Yeah,
I kind of can get with that. But then again,
he played it in pretty much every matchup, so
no, it's fine. Like, once again, comfort is a real big thing when it comes to these kind of competitions. Comfort picks are really strong, and you don't necessarily have to play towards the meta when you're really confident on your comfort picks. But then again, offering a champion like Shen so many countering possibilities, it really helps you in your composition going for Protected Kog'Maw. Your taunt plus W that denies auto attacks can be a real threat to Kled wanting to take auto attack trades. And then with the buffs in the past couple of patches, it looks like he's a really strong duelist. And once again, Stand United is such a great ability to use in these protected carry compositions. But once again, comfort is still really important.
Yeah, we see Ava's just deciding, wants to pick that Rumble, pick what he's comfortable with. We mentioned earlier about how Ava's picked the Rumble with the J4 a lot, just for that equalizer combo, but we actually don't see a lot of lockdown on the Stratford side of Rush, that Avis isn't going to get as many free equalizers.
Yeah, like Equalizer can be used in two ways. You can do it purely for damage, and if you can combine it with an ability like the Cataclysm or something else that can lock down opponents fairly easily, it can be used for the amount of damage that you'd like. But at the same time, you can also use it as a really great zoning tool to split open team fights, where you split off one half of the team of the other half of the team, and then suddenly Galio cannot peel for an Ezreal anymore. Ezreal has to be relying on his arcane shift, and if that one is on cooldown and there's no flash available, you should be having a fairly easy kill, because even though Galio is the anti-magical Colossus, he still probably doesn't want to walk through like the lava bolts or whatever it is that Rumble shoots with the Equalizer.
Yeah, and I really want to see how Ava's and Not Actually Blind on this set in the mid lane do push the fact that Equalizer can split off Trixie Fix on this Ezreal. I want to see how Not Actually Blind on Z can just abuse the fact that without Arcane Shift, without Flash, that is a dead Trixie Fix.
I'm just really afraid of the classic Ezreal build that's still really popular right now, which is Mirror Mana into Iceborne Gauntlet into Death Dance, because that can really deny a champion like Zed a free kill or not, because you cannot get the burst damage down in time before Ezreal heals it back with help of Conqueror and the Death Dance just healing you for free. And now that we are into the loading screen, which you won't be seeing on stream, there aren't really that many interesting choices in keys. So I think everything is fairly standard, except for maybe Conqueror on Z, but we have seen that a decent amount from players like Yamikaze on the NA server, who also prefers it on champions like Kiana and Talon. We see the Arcane Comet coming out on Rumble, the classic face rush on Zed, Conqueror on Zed, Lethal Tempo Kokma, Summon Airy Soraka, Arcane Comet Karma. We see the Conqueror on Ezreal, Galio with Aftershock, and both Olaf and Caligula, aka Clad, is picking Conqueror.
Yeah, I'm not surprised to see the Conqueror pick up on the Z, because when you pick up the Electrocute, a lot of what you're looking at is for this early. You're looking to win the lane. And into a Galio, it's not going to happen as easily. So this Conqueror pickup is obviously looking a little bit later on, saying, okay, I'm not gonna dominate this lane. Let's play it for later on in the game.
Also,
There
really
we go.
interesting.
Loading onto the Rift, boys. In the meantime, I will just quickly tell you once again that betting is still open, so get your bets in before the first action here will be happening on the Rift of this first game between Rush Esports and AFK Hotel Esports in the TG Diamond League playoffs quarters of the season number 5.
Yeah, so one thing also to note from loading screen is triple teleport setup on the side of AFK Hotel, which is fairly standard when it comes to heavy rotational compositions. I just hope that they have the communication to make it work, because they are coming in here as the underdog. So maybe there's a little bit of underestimation coming out from Rush Esports.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see if Rush are just playing this fairly confident and not actually giving the respect that AFK Hotel deserve for getting this far and actually drafting this very solid comp together, having that triple teleport. It's all about how they play this out.
Yeah, so we see the fairly standard hovers coming out. Everyone's just doing the standard waiver, fan, whatever you want to call it. There's also a reset coming in from both junglers to pick up that really early sweeper.
We do see Not Actually Blind getting a very early ward into the Wraith camp for AFK Hotel. So obviously looking to scout out where AFK, the jungler, is pathing.
So yeah, there we go. Classic laning
We
phase.
actually see a possible level 2 Shady coming in this mid lane. Not Actually Blind Shady. Not Actually Blind still level 1, but the flash stun coming out from Shady. But Wasweet will just flash away into safety. Very, very early gank coming out from Shady. I don't think any of us were expecting that.
It is a really early gank, and I think we also have to expect a lot of ganks going into the mid lane right now, because that flashless Galio should be abused.
Yeah, especially considering Shady does have sex that she can come in some interesting paths to gank. But do you see on the way pings coming out from Shady into this top jungle, that ward, that not actually blind getting out onto AFK's Wraith camp, paying off, they track him there, but they're gonna let him go for free instead.
There is a little bit of tracking, but at the same time, I think there's going to be some Hex Flash cheese going on here at the
And
Wraith
the Hex
camp.
not giving the interesting gank potential, the knock-up coming out, denying Wasby's escape, and the burst coming out from not actually blind to pick up first blood onto Wasby.
Beautifully played. Really great rune choices from Shady, knowing that if he forces his flash that early in the mid lane for the enemy that probably doesn't have Hex Flash, you can make this cheese possible, and well, just beautifully executed, well played.
Do you see the bot lane of Rush Esports just hovering in the jungle? Looking at this 3v2, Tomkick possibly gonna get caught out here. Forced to flash away. But Flash coming out from AFK, catching Tracer and Tomkick with that axe. Tracer looking in a dangerous spot. Flash is available. Forced to flash away there. Both getting out safe, but that is now a flashless bot lane on the side of Rush Esports.
Just really aggressive pathing coming out from Rush to show their dominance, but did it pay off in the end? Because they are down close to all summoners except for the exhaust on Tracer against a full summoner ready bot lane with a really aggressive early game jungler called Olaf. That can be a really difficult situation, knowing that your ADC, the Kog'Maw, is fairly immobile.
Yeah, we're actually seeing so many aggressive plays coming out from Rush Esports. We saw level 2 gank, level 3 gank on this mid lane. We might be seeing another gank Shady in that Wraith camp again with that Hex Flash available. Flashing over the wall, not quite interrupting dash from Wasby this time. We'll be getting away safely. They're putting so much effort onto getting not actually blind ahead on that Zed. And it's paying off in the sense that actually Wasby is like almost scared to walk forward now, considering the Hex Flash is available constantly from Shady.
Yeah, he should know by now that he has to ward his own Raptor camp before getting cheesed once again by this sad player. And at the same time, he's just getting pressured out of lane for now, since Conqueror just stacks up really well with the abilities from a Zad. So for now, he's having a really difficult lane. Some small rotations on the bot side of the map, not really anything too sketchy. They just want to get some vision control over that early dragon. Ping's already coming out. It looks like AFK is going to for the solo on it. But little does he know that Shady, even though he is a back behind, is in the vicinity, still going for the recall. That might actually give the first dragon to the side of AFK Hotel.
Yeah, AFK Hotel having the only vision on this. Rush actually have no vision on this dragon whatsoever, apart from
no, they do.
not actually blind just through that trinket, and they know they're doing it, but there's not a lot they can do to contest. Not actually blind might be an interesting spot here. What's really hovering behind? But it is looking like this first dragon will be going to AFK Hotel.
Yeah, there's nothing they could do. Like, Shady was already in base. There is a teleport from Avers. There's also a teleport from Odyssey, but obviously probably didn't want to TP in with only a small platform without Skarl. And without a jungler, there's no really contesting there. You can potentially try to outpoke enemies, but Smite is there. There's a Karma Shield. There's a lot of poke coming out from an Ezreal. It's just a really free dragon, and I'm just hoping that there's a follow-up play coming out soon on the side of Rush Esports to at least get the other neutral objective spawning soon on the Rift, which is going to be the Herald.
Yeah, Herald coming up in just under 2 minutes. But yeah, very well played from the side of AFK Hotel. As soon as Shady goes back, they are starting up that dragon. I'm not sure if they actually have vision on Shady's recall there, or whether that was pure intuition. But we do actually see Shady coming with that sweeper in the bot lane. Isn't going to be spotted by Trixie Pix or AP Nut. We're seeing a few alcove shenanigans possibly coming out. Hex Flash is available. But the bot lane of Rush Esports from AFK Hotel even are looking. IP Nut stepping forward, flash forced. They did not know Shady was there. IP Nut just wanting to unfreeze that wave to stop Tracer and Tomkick having just this free lane. But Shady was there straight away to follow up on it. We did say in the meantime that AFK, the jungler for AFK Hotel, it's going to be very confusing, did come in mid lane for a gank on to not actually blind, and was we getting out super low, but not quite getting a second kill on to not actually blind in that 1v2.
Yeah, there's a lot of brawling going on in all the solo lanes, and well, we did see a really nice play coming out from not actually blind with the flash, dodging all the abilities from Woshwi, forcing him to go back once again, even with the jungler in the vicinity. And now this leaves AFK in a really difficult spot, because there's also a lot of follow from Avers. He has to teleport ready.
AFK is now getting caught out by Shady. Here's entries coming from Woshwi. They're in a 3v2 right now, as Avers is slow to respond to Shady, forced to flash over the wall there. But now, caught out Shady in the 3v1. Yeah. The Equalizer is going to pick off AFK. And now in this 3v2, Ava's forced to flash away from that charge from Woshwi. And both Avas and Not Actually Blind looking in dangerous spots here, as neither of them have summoners to get away here. But Not Actually Blind going to use that Shadow Dash to get away in the Tri-Bush.
Oh,
A teleport coming out from Avas to get that escape. And they'll be coming out 1-for-1.
Instantly noted by Trixie Fix that he was going to be getting away there, but a really nice teleport from him. Actually, it gives him a free kill, picked up against this jungler, if I was correct.
Yes, it was
Well,
AFK who died to that Equalizer.
Anyway, it does mean that there is going to be a really close to 20 CS disadvantage towards Trixie Fix. Kind of equalized by the fact that he has a kill, but it doesn't mean that much yet, because there's also a kill, which also means a free kill on Tracer's side when he completes it. And then, well, all other lanes are actually fairly hard behind. We see 60 CS on Avers Rumble, and then 51 on the side of Odyssey God Scrub, who got forced out of lane an awful lot when he was on 38. There was already 50 on the ticker for Avers. And then Not Actually Blind is playing his matchup really well with the help of his Conqueror Keystone. 69 CS right now against 55. Those are really already fairly big advantages on the side of Rush for the amount of time that we are in game.
Yeah, it's only up to about 1,800 gold. It's starting to slowly trickle away for AFK Hotel, and they need to start looking for these plays, looking for these pickoffs to start bringing back that gold lead onto their side. Did see Shady possibly looking at this Herald. He's cleared out the vision, but is deciding against finishing that off.
Really interesting to see Kill also being picked up by Trixie Fix after that teleport, not wanting to throw himself too far behind after the lost CS. And well, the moment he finishes the kill, he's also getting that 3 kill gold worth of money in the pocket. So that also means that it's a little bit easier to come back when Tracer gets out of hand, but it's still a Kog'Maw. Kog'Maw deals a huge amount of damages when the Blade of the Rune King and the full points W are finished. So that might give some really awkward situations in the bot lane soon.
Yeah, and honestly, bot lane's been a lot more chill than I expected it to be. Especially considering how early Shady came down for those Alco shenanigans. It's been pretty calm. We do see Herald being started from the side of AFK Hotel, but traded for the Dragon by Rush. Looks like they're going to be trading objectives here. Neither actually have vision on the other.
It's a really nice counter if you ask me. It's an Infernal for a Mountain in the end. Infernal going over to Rush and AFK Hotel having the Mountain Dragon already.
Yeah, but really nice to see how they end up using this Herald that they have picked up. Do you see both AFK and Odyssey really pressuring this top lane? Herald being summoned is probably going to be first tower of the game here, as Avers is a little bit slow, a little bit behind, and this Herald will get off that charge. And that will not quite be first tower going down as long as Avers can.
Look at the bot lane.
Minions. CP came out from Woshwi. Shady and Tracer will be using that blast cone to get away.
I think there's maybe too little value coming out from the teleport plays right now on the side of AFK Hotel. Normally you like that to brute force the lead into the early stages, but it looks actually Tracer and Tom Kick are going for a baiting play.
Get that nice root down, and just this pure damage coming out from Tracer. IP Nut will be melted down by that Kog'Maw spit.
Yeah, you really need your vision control against this lane, because that fake recall actually means that Tracer is like real on his way to become
Do you see the possible
the big threat.
2v1 in this top side? Ava's getting caught out by AFK. Equalizer coming out, trying just to push them away, but it won't be enough with the damage that AFK and Odyssey God Scrub can just push out onto Ava's.
Yeah, interesting plays all over the map, and in the end, it looks like AFK Hotel is behind by a decent amount of gold, and in the end, right now, it's only 600 after they take first tower. But
Yeah, first
most
tower
of the
to pick
gold
up a kill.
advantages are on their really important carries.
Yeah, I actually really like to see AFK Hotel making these plays, bringing that gold lead back towards even. And I really want to see how they play the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes of this game to make sure that Rush aren't going to get that scaling that they need on that Ezreal. Do you see Shady coming in again, using the flash to stop Washby's dash coming out? It will be flashing away, but Katao coming out. Washby just kiting him around the tower. Shady taking a lot of damage there, but not quite enough to finish him off. FK on that Olaf hovering in this mid lane, just making sure they don't go in for that re-engage onto Washby.
And this should leave the game for now in the next at least 2 minutes in a little bit of a stalemate state. Kind of depends on what this bot lane is going to have for an answer, because you'd say that Trixie Fix by now would have figured out that the secret of a bot lane with a Soraka is the awful amount of healing that Soraka can throw out there, with some help of the Q on herself, the W, Rejuvenate, helping the ADC out most of the time, and Wishes there as well. Oh, but Ipina doesn't really understand that he's on the
Not
board.
respecting the sheer amount of damage Tracer can put out. Possibly another ultimate gonna pick him off there, but the Happy Feet coming out, dodging that last living artillery there.
Living Artillery in the end is a dot of a skill shot, so it's not a 50-50. I can sidestep it right ways or left ways. This time around, it's a 360-degree angle that you can sidestep it in. It makes it a little bit easier, but they are thrown under a lot of pressure, and it looks like this 4-man bot lane escapade on the side of Rush is going to leave this bot lane tower abandoned.
Yep, looking just to pick up that tower in return for the top tower that AFK Hotel picked up earlier. It's not quite the same amount of gold, but it does free up the bot lane and just general map rotations for Rush Esports.
Yeah, it is still a 2,000 gold advantage, and if you look at the gold standings right now, when you press the X button, it's going to be really clear that it's mostly on the main carries on the side of Rush Esports that have this big of a gold lead in their pockets. Yeah. Most notably, this Kog'Maw over the Ezreal is going to be a real issue to be dealing with in the later stages of the game.
Yeah, 1,300 gold. Tracer is currently ahead of Trixie Fix there. Another 2-1 is about just under 1,000 gold for not actually blind onto Washby. So it'll be really interesting to see how they actually play into this next dragon fight, spawning in 27 seconds. Looking like both teams are just trying to get a little vision out, possibly a pick. Tracer stepping towards 4 members of AFK Hotel. Will be respecting that stepping away.
I think it's kind of interesting to see Odyssey Scrub already here, even though he has the teleport available, can still go for Evers. Oh, what's Blind doing?
Looking for that pick onto Trixie Fix, but it won't quite be enough damage. Forced to recall, but Trixie Fix does have teleport available. And Shady blindly walking into this bush where Odyssey God Scrub is standing. It will be looking pretty clear.
Yeah, so the
All
TP
this time,
actually
Ava is actually pushing in that top tower. We do see the charge coming out from Odyssey God Scrub, catching out Shady there. The edge coming in from Washby, not actually picking anyone up that knockup, but the knockup then landing on to Shady, picking him off there. Equalizer coming out, and AFK just stepping away from that. That living artillery looking to pick up Washby. Flash coming out from Ava's with that pick him off there under the tower. Not actually blind, then going for the flash W to pick off Odyssey God Scrub underneath that second tier tower. And a 2-for-1 overall. Rush Esports taking that lead, looking to push towards the mid tower over the dragon. Some pings coming out. Obviously, it's the dragon after that mid tower. When Shady will be alive and ready with that smite, hopefully to stop AFK from going for that potential steal.
Yeah, so whilst Russia's now rushing towards the dragon, like their name implies, I want to go like a little bit back towards the last fight. We've just seen really well played by Rush Esports, throwing it back right in the faces of AFK Hotels, making a call, not really getting the desired result. Yes, they did get a pick on Shady, but in the end, it was fairly messy. It didn't really feel like their side was on the same page. Right now, they're still trying to get something out of this trade, trying to take the Red Herald down before the enemies can take it. But
Doing another
in the
dragon
end,
account trade, but
yeah,
you see the side of Rush Esports positioning up won't be stopping that Herald getting taken. But now Shady going to get caught in the middle of AFK Hotels. Come there, but we'll be using that ultimate to get away there.
I don't like that they're starting fights after they haven't reset yet, when it's coming from the side of Rush, looking to lose another tower.
I mean, you see AFK abusing the fact that they haven't reset, putting that Herald down straight away, opening up that mid tower. And Rush can't react to this. They haven't reset.
Yeah, in the end, do they have to react? Like, all they lose right now is their mid tower. Yeah, it's a little bit of a shame, but they did take Drake instead. Now have 2 dragons instead of the one that their enemy has. Still have a 3k gold lead, so that's also going really well for them. And looking at the fight right now, they have a really nice counter engage, because the moment that Aussie Godscrub makes the engage with the charge, only catches Shady, and all they have to do is kite back. You instantly notice that the equalizer was fired the moment that Trixie Fix was really aggressively using the arcane shift, having no way out of there except for walking in the other direction than where his team is, and that just forces away so much damage on the side of AFK Hotel that it's fairly easy to clean up on the side of Rush Esports and win these team fights.
Do you see Shady finding a pick onto Odyssey Godscrub here? Actually, might be a little bit slow to react, but it is going to pull out that charge. And we'll just be leaving away from that fight. But yeah, seeing that charge go down onto Shady just before that. Oh, he's coming back.
Same thing all over again.
Pink ward's still in there. Go back. There we go.
It's also quite something to see that Zed actually opting to go for lethality, even with the Conqueror. You'd say that he might be opting for something like Black Cleaver, also to help out this fellow damage dealer on the AD side, Kokmal.
Did you see actually Ava's getting caught out? The blast flame throwing him to Trixie Fix and IP up. And the equalizer is coming out. But he's going to be one dead Rumble. Just stepping up a little bit too far into AFK Hotel's jungle. And he's going to get punished accordingly for it. Odyssey, looking for this pick onto Not Actually Blind. Ultimate coming out, Wish coming out from Tom Kick will keep Not Actually Blind alive.
Kind of feels like Rush getting sloppy. They feel like it's in the back, still 3k gold ahead, fairly solid point, but they're just wandering solo into the enemy jungle, thinking that they won't be facing any form of resistance, and well, AFK Hotel is still there to answer, and it's still their game to come back in.
I mean, yeah,
there's no tier completed yet on Ezreal, so like the scaling is still there. All they need to find is just one mishap in the positioning on the side of Rush, and then see how they can pull through.
Yeah, we did just see 2, honestly, misplays from the side of Rush, both on the bottom and top sides of the map. And yeah, as you said, it feels like they're just not respecting the AFK Hotel. Whilst they're not at their strongest right now, they are really not too far away from being this just force of a comp that is going to be really, really difficult to deal with, especially if they keep throwing gold at them almost for free.
Also, quick note that the only Executioner's Calling which is providing Grievous Wounds on the side of AFK Hotel is actually on the Olaf, so the moment that Soraka has not to be facing an Olaf, it's going to be fine on Rush Esports side. So I'm hoping that AFK Hotel will at least get something like a Morello soon on the Galio, or an Executioner's, which is probably the better option on the Ezreal, but for now, it's a choice of just hoping that Olaf gets there.
Do you see Not Actually Blind going for that pick on Trixie Fix? Was we going to be interrupting him? But we do see this fight in this bottom side river. Shady looking to get caught out, but Tom Kick is being charged at. The Ragnarok coming out from AFK, but Equalizer going to pick him off on the side there. Shady flashing over the wall to pick up Trixie Fix with that straight auto attacks. Obviously, going to be altered towards Ava's and Tom Kick. We do see Not Actually Blind and Tracer picking up a kill in that top side towards the Wraiths. Whilst that was all going on.
Yeah, this should be a really free Baron call on the side of Rush, and my main question for both chat and for you, Uriel, did you spot the main flaw there in the team fight where everything went wrong on the side of AFK Hotel?
We actually just hit a tower dive coming out here from actually blind. Just gonna pick up Odyssey Gold Scrub there. Honestly, I was watching as we saw, what was it? We saw Truespace playing pretty aggressively far forward, just looking for a little bit of damage onto the side of Rush Esports.
Yeah, I think the call there was made by AFK, going for Tom Kick, wanting to run him down with the help of his Grievous Wound, instantly dropping both Ragnarok and the Smite on this Soraka, but just couldn't reach it. He was the only one going there, tunnel visioning all the way through, and just got himself killed in the end, and there went the plan. There went the Grievous Wounds with him, and that just gives Tom Kick the freest game of his life to keep his team alive for the rest of the team fight.
Yeah, as we saw, actually, teleports coming out. They're looking for this dragon now. All 5 members of both teams hovering around. Neither actually really wanted to start this dragon. So we see a reset coming in. Odyssey Ghost Trap is behind the side of Rush. We see a lot of damage coming out from him, not actually blind. We see the engage coming out. They're looking to pick up, not actually blind here, but the living artillery will pick up AFK and Odyssey God Scrub as we see 2 for 0 trade. AFK Hotel forced away from this dragon, and that'll be dragon number 3 for Rush Esports.
Yeah, we see Shady throwing some BM there with the setups in the scuttle area, provides some vision, and wow, is she now getting punished for overstaying?
He was going for the tower dive,
yeah.
just the heals from Tonkick, keeping him pretty healthy. Hourglass forced, was we going to be getting away there?
Yeah, he knew that he still had Sonya, so he can just push those boundaries, just wait for Tom to get his heals back, and then in the end he will just get out of there full HP. And well, we see an Ezreal sitting on an Iceborne Gauntlet, not even man immune yet. Tyr looks to be stacked soon, but...
We do see an engage coming in the spot lane. Odyssey just actually going to get caught out by both the Living Artillery and the Equalizer, which we now caught in the middle of the team, thanks to Shady's ultimate there. And once again, AFK Hotel just forced to back away from the sheer force that is Rush Esports. Do you see the Ragnarok coming out onto actually blind? We'll be using that ultimate to get away. The tower shot not quite finishing him. And they will pick up that kill onto AFK, onto that Olaf.
Well, the death mark, like the name says, marking AFK for death there. Nothing he could have done against it. Still tried to at least retaliate on Tom. He still died to the tower, so he got something out of it at the very least. But at the same time, almost a 10k gold lead there on the side of Rush, and I don't see any form or way on the side of AFK Hotel to make a possible comeback here, unless there's a huge throw coming out from Rush. But they're so subtle right now in the driver's seat. They kind of know that they have it. Look at the item advantage on both ADCs. Ezreal still not having that mirror mana spike at 25 minutes. It's going to be a real pain to sit through this one.
Yeah, that last fight, they lost 3 towers and an inhibitor. Also, looking at Trixie Fix build, still hasn't finished the call. He's had that for...
but he finally got mirror mana.
Minutes. But yeah,
25 minutes
just now,
mana.
25 minutes.
Still, at the same time, 60 CS difference in favor of the Tracer. On top lane, we also see a 40 CS diff. In the mid lane, we see 28 CS diff. It's just all looking in favor of Rush, and I don't see it going anywhere else.
Yeah, we're going to see some serious throws from Rush to see it go any other way. See next dragon spawning in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, they're picking it really slow.
Actually, being
no.
quite far forward here. AFK and Odyssey also going to be catching him out there. The charge coming out. But using those shadows to just kite around the damage. Trees are coming in on the side, just doing insane amounts of damage. And that'll be 2 down for the side of AFK Esports. Ava's still alive. Flamethrower, Washweek just surviving there. And that will be Washweek falling as well in that 3 for 1. And what I thought was just not actually blind playing Fate far too far forward, actually turning that as a 3 for 1. Rush were there straight away to follow him out.
Yeah, I really thought that blind was going to get picked off there. Evers is still wanting to go for that unofficial Penta, forcing his own Zhonya's to throw in a little bit more BM in the mix. Now looking to take down all the inhibitors, and well, they can look to potentially finish. There are some decent respawn timers on the clock, so Odyssey will join the fray real soon, and the same thing goes for AFK. But then again, if you back off now, you pick up all the objectives that will be spawned within like now and 130 seconds.
Yeah, we do
Should
actually
be
see
alright.
AFK Hotel going really aggressive onto the side of Rush here. Shady gonna get picked off. AFK running down onto that side. Equalizer gonna come down, but not gonna be enough to finish. It's just Tracer and Tom Kick left against the whole side. But they are gonna actually pick up a kill onto Washby, trading that as a 2-for-1.
Talking about
actually
close,
blind
but
gets
not
it.
one yet.
Deathmark coming out onto AFK on that Olaf. Will be getting away with that second proc of the Deathmark. Odyssey Yorkrup just taken down. It's a 3-for-5 overall.
Like, was it worth it? Not really. It was a real situation of overstaying for no reason at all. All they had to do is take inhips, go B, but they just wanted to pressure on, couldn't do it. Respawn timers were too soon. A really nice teleport on the flank coming out from Washwi, at least securing this fight, but there are so many super minions going to walk over this base soon. Cloud Soul Point spawning in 27 seconds, probably going to get picked up by Rush, and still looking like a desperate situation, even though they did get a decent amount of shutdown gold. Gold difference still 8,000 gold. I don't see it happening, even though they did have a really nice fight. So they do show that they can do it, maybe next game.
Yeah, it does look like a pretty dire situation for AFK Hotel. They're not going to be able to contest this soul pickup from Rush Esports. 3 inhibitors down. They're seeing 6 supers every single wave. Unless maybe we see the true shot barrage from Tracy Fix, but no, that is Cloud Soul over on the side of Rush Esports. This is their game to finish now. They're just rotating up to this Baron.
Yeah, they're probably calling right now better safe than sorry, and the moment like one or two players on the side of AFK Hotel want to even dare and contest this Baron, there's the backdoor opportunity for both not actually blind and Evers to pick it up. Just wanting to keep the pressure necessary. There's a lot of damage coming out with the percentage HP damage on Kokma, and the moment this Baron gets picked up, it's just GG.
Yeah, we do see Ava's and not actually blind already in that base, ready to Baron up those minions, make it even harder for FK Hotel to clear. But we do see the charge coming out from Odyssey Ghost. All 5 of them going towards Ava here. Ragnarok coming out, Ava's using that hourglass, but we see the rest of Rush Esports there to follow up. A nice 4-man stun coming out from Shady. And that'll be a 5-for-0 wipe.
And the Pentasteel being denied by Tracer. Really well done. Like, pentakills are overrated anyway.
Who needs them?
I think it's fairly obvious. Really desperate last stand coming out from Odyssey, still wanting to take the fight whilst Tracer, Shady, and Tom Kick weren't there yet. But how can you catch champions like a Rumble with Zhonya's that can just stall out time? Same thing goes for a set. It just goes dashy, shadow here, shadow there. My ult goes there. Try catch me now. Just stalling time for the rest of the team to come in. And you instantly notice the last team fight, huge amounts of damage being pumped by Tracer, by not actually blind. It was just their game for the taking. And I'm just hoping that when it comes to the rotation game, AFK just notice what's happening. It's not going to get cheesed again, hopefully, by the Hex Flash electric Boogaloo shenanigans. And hopefully they've learned from this experience and you can tell that they can do it in the very end. Like, you've seen them win a couple of team fights by just better decision making. All they need right now is the composition to do it with. And that wasn't the case, apparently, for this game.
Yeah, unfortunately, AFK Hotel it felt like they were sort of slowly crumbling from that sort of 12-minute mark. They had a few pickbacks where they were, making these picks where Rush were just overextending and being a bit too confident with their lead. But in each of these team fights, it kind of felt like they were just falling down and down and down.
I'm actually very surprised by the damage graphs. Like, the amount of damage coming out from this Zed, I expected a lot less, but then because most of the time Kokma is just spitting hot fire just on everyone. Percentage HP damage is balanced in a nutshell. But for this scenario, Conqueror Zed dealing a lot of both DPS and burst damage, and you can tell that the enemy felt it.
Yeah, almost. There was no contest in just the amount of damage that we saw from Rush Esports. AFK Hotel, we saw, Tracer Fix even, topping the damage charts with just under 14k. But we saw 27, 26k from Not Actually Blind and Tracer. There was very little contest there.
Well, maybe if we have a look at the MVP vote that's going to be happening in 2 seconds here of the winning team, we can decide who was actually the carry for Wash Esports, of course, not taking anything away from this glorious team play and team play victory. But yeah, if you have a look at the Twitch chat real quick, we'll start a vote poll. You can vote with ! vote, and then anything from top, jungle, mid, AD carry, and support. Obviously, like it's written by the message posted by Streamlabs, you can vote for your favorite player of this team and the MVP of this first game. So Ava's in the top lane. If you want to vote for him, do ! Vote top. Shady in the jungle, Not Actually Blind in the mid lane, Tracer on that AD carry, and of course Tom Kick on the support Soraka.
So, of course, my first question going to my co-caster is, who do you think deserves the MVP award?
For me, I kind of want to give it to Shady. We saw just the sheer amount of pressure he had. It felt like the whole game, always there to support and actually blind in that mid lane, making sure he won that lane, getting some really, really nice ultimates, bringing, I think there's one also bringing like members from AFK Hotel back into his team. There was just no way they could escape.
Oh no.
Actually put in quite nicely for Tracy. We saw in that last team fight, I think it was a 4-man stun coming out, and there was just nothing AFK Hotel could do.
Yeah, Shady's ego here. Ego.
Yeah,
That's
of course,
good.
but like, I do completely agree with this statement. Not necessarily for the team fight, but like the complete early game of the game was already decided by Shady, making Washi not fall once but twice for his cheesy Hex Flash ganks, which is what made the snowball rolling on the side of Not Actually Blind. And well, Not Actually Blind did deal a lot of damage, was a huge part of the team fighting, but I also have to give it to him that he did overextend a couple of times fairly unnecessary, while Shady was more focused on objectives, keeping the pressure on, also being a real help in the team fights. He didn't necessarily need to deal a lot of damage to enemies, because that's where you have Tracer and Not Actually Blind for, but he was just pressuring exactly the right points at exactly the right times, and with some help of that early game cheese, he just made the game what it became to be.
Yeah, I can agree with that. Well, anyways, boys, as the vote is still going on for another minute or so, we will direct your attention to this upcoming game of Wash Esports versus AFK Hotel Esports here. Game number 2. After this game number 1, we have a score in we have a score 1-0 in favor of the blue side, but they will switch over to the red side now. Wash Esports will be competing on the red side in the next game. In the meantime, I will hopefully give you enough time to grab a snack, a drink, or whatever you need to take a short break. Same to the casters, and we will be right back in exactly, let's say, 3 minutes after everybody has settled in for this second game of this quarterfinals here in the TG Diamond League. See you guys soon, and yeah, listen to some music.
Export.
Hello there. Welcome back, everybody. So we have two things very first to do here. So this first thing is going to be complete our poll on who was the MVP of last game. So let's have a look at this one real quick. Streamlabs will tell you in the Twitch chat that it has been indeed a tie between the jungle and the support. So both the Set and the Soraka here. Sharing that space. So I think that is very much appreciated by both of these players. They did everything to get their team ahead, even though they were not the ones with the big kill or, well, gold differences here when it came to the direct lanes or oppositions. But yeah, so with that being out of the way, the next thing is going to be we will have a look at the current standings real quick, because we have an exciting news coming also from our second quarterfinals today, where I also see Mist dropped game number 1 versus Service Esports. And for those who follow us around on Discord, they can most likely see the discussion channel of the Diamond League here, where one of the guys posted that he went majors and 21-2, so definitely a lot of kills happening in that game. We will be updating you with that score on that game as soon as we get more information. But yeah, now back to our quarterfinals of today. It's going to be Rush Esports versus AFK Tel Esports, waiting for game number 2, and we are ready for the virtual draft. Let's see if the players are, and maybe Dermot and Ioria, who are casting for you today, can give you a bit of a rundown what just happened in game number 1.
Yeah, we saw. It felt like a little bit of a one-sided game from Rush Esports. And I mean, a question for you, Gemma, do you think there's going to be any respect bans coming out from game 1? Because we talked about this a little bit before game 1 started. That just because we saw lots of one tricks, a lot of wide champion balls, is very varied between the players. Is there anything that you think from game 1 that's going to stand out?
You have to keep in mind that AFK is now playing the blue side, so that means that they right now have the pick that can decide everything in this champion select screen. They can get their priorities off. If they contest the set pick, they can pick up the set. They can still ban it if they're still afraid of some early game Hex Flash cheese, but then again, the Hex Flash cheese is possible with a decent amount of champions. It's just that set really enjoys the free cap closer that he normally doesn't have. I'd say the respect bans that they had in the first place should still be there, since Rush right now has shown us that comfort is just way more important in these kind of situations than team composition, because we, like both of us, already gave it to AFK Hotel when it came to their team composition. The way they drafted it was almost perfectly executed, but in the end, how they executed their team composition in game was not necessarily horrible, but I'd like to see these players on champions that they are comfortable with, that they can play it in a way that they know the damages, that they know when to go in, when not to go in, and right now it just felt like they were not really on the same page when it came to close to everything.
But we are getting into our champ select. First ban being Akali onto the side of Rush. We talked about that a little bit in game 1, how Akali is a flex pick between Abers and not actually blind. No surprises there, seeing that taken away from both of them.
Yes. Well, once again, OTP bans. It's just fairly standard, and I'm really glad that they're respecting comfort so much.
Yeah, that Rengar, I think it was 204 games from AFK on that Rengar this season. So yeah,
209 with a 56%
209.
win rate, so that's something to behold.
Yeah, and we see. I think we're actually going for the same bans as they did after game one, just targeting these one tricks, even getting that Rengar, getting that Draven. What was their third ban in game one? Third ban in game one was Cho'Gath. So maybe they'll mirror that. Maybe they'll go for something a little bit different. Interestingly enough, similar bans coming out from AFK as well. They banned the Akali and the Volley and the Lulu in game one. Interesting to see if we get that exact same bans again.
Perhaps Rush will leave Lulu open in the scenario that AFK first picks it. They can prioritize a different champion. Looks like Tristana and Cho'Gath are going to take their leave. And then it's all on the shoulders of AFK to make the most important priority pick that they can. Because if this priority pick is nothing contested, looks to be the Kog'Maw. That's fairly interesting, because this is a decent flex pick in the way that AP Kog'Maw is also playable in this meta. But I don't think it's a great blind pick, because it can be countered in both roles fairly easily.
Yeah, maybe just wanting to pick that away from Tracer. So we saw Tracer had a really, really good performance on that Kog'Maw in game one.
Oh, I feel like getting flashbacks. Misfortune Leona is something I've only seen at the start of Spring Split, before they nerfed Misfortune, but right now I'm just instantly getting flashbacks to Solar Flare into Bullet Time, and that's something I just haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, especially onto something, if we do see the Kog'Maw in the bottom lane, as a mobile, as a Kog'Maw, you've got Flash. That's it. You've got to dodge the Zenith Blade, you've got to dodge the Solar Flare. I mean, the Raining Bullets, which one is that? Have Misfortune's E, that's got the slow on it as well. Just makes it really, really hard for Kog'Maw to actually escape there. And we do see Lulu picked up for IPNut, having about 122 games in Lulu this season, about a 61% win rate. So a nice
Kind of a classic, right?
for
Like,
IPNut there.
Kog'Maw Lulu is also something that was played in the Spring Split in the playoff series when it came to G2, throwing caps on the Kog'Maw and the Lulu going over to Mickey X, which was, in their own perspective, actually a counter to this bot lane combination. You'd probably say that Kog'Maw Lulu, you could have paired it up with the Tahm Kench if really necessary against the combination of Misfortune Leona, but why not go for the Lulu when you have an OTP in your team, right?
Exactly. Yes, and the Jarvan locked in for Rush. If AFK aren't banning Rumble this round, I mean, they're basically throwing away Enchant Select, aren't they?
There are so many more combinations, though. Like,
We
you
had
can pick
Jason.
Galio.
We did have Jason come in Enchant Select last time, talk about how Rush really liked Ava on that Rumble with Shady on the Jarvan. I think it was last split, I think he said. So yeah, I'd be surprised to see Rumble left open. Echo probably looking like a pick for AFK. He's got a 71% win rate on Echo currently. So
Yeah, well, there goes the Rumble.
There it goes. We're not going to see the Rumble Jarvan. I'm sad, but also, you know, you can't leave that open knowing that that's a pick that Rush like to do.
I'm glad AFK can at least resist in a way when there's no Rumble pick on the table. Interesting that Rush is going to be banning away Galio themselves, even though they have the priority pick after this banning phase, and it would pair really well with the Jarvan.
We did see Watch Me play it last game, and maybe Rush have a comp in mind, and it's something that not actually blind in that mid lane doesn't want to play against. It's saying, okay, I want to play whatever. But if they pick Galio, I'm useless. Or I'm going to have a really tough lane. So maybe it's a preemptive ban thinking about what not actually blind wants to pick in that mid lane.
Yeah, in a way, you'd say Galio is going really well into Echo. Then again, Echo is a decent flex once again between mid and jungle, so it can go anywhere whenever necessary. Of course, we do have the inside information that their mid laner most of the time plays the champion, but flexing those picks not always a really bad option to have. Zed now going to get banned away from Rush, so both top and mid from last game are going to get banned out. And it looks like Rush going to complete their top lane, or like top side of the composition with a Gangplank, which is also a real nice thing to have have with a Jarvan, because now you can just call the Cannon Barrage on the Cataclysm in combination with the Bullet Time, in combination with Make It Rain, which is like a smaller version of the Cannon Barrage. It's a really nice wombo combo. Now all you need to do is find the perfect opportunity, because I'm just hoping AFK now realizes they cannot draft a team composition that clumps up together in a small group, because that's exactly what Rush would like to see right now.
Yeah, Ava's GP another comfort pick for him. And we just see that Ornn being locked in for AFK, obviously looking for that. They're not going to win that top lane, and they just want to stall it out and just get those free stats that you do for having an Ornn on your team.
I still like it. Like, you can use E on a wall of the Cataclysm and then break it so people can walk out of it. So it's like a small counter, maybe quality of life in a way. It's not the biggest counter against Jarvan, because the moment you're inside the Cataclysm, walking out of it isn't the greatest way of getting out of it.
Especially, for some of them, it's not even possible. If they catch...
But
Trixie
it's
Fix
something.
on-
There's always a silver
Oh,
lining.
Yes.
So,
Interesting that
final...
Rush...
final
Sorry, you go.
No, go on. It's
I
the
think
final
it's
pick.
interesting that Rush gave their counter pick to the mid lane. They're obviously... performance from not actually playing last game was really, really good. I think he finished that game... I think it was 11-2. I could be wrong. That's just the number that's floating around in my head. But yeah, obviously they want him performing well today, giving him that counter pick.
Like, normally, when you see an Azir getting locked in, then classic R5 is going to be Corki, which is going to be a really boring lane if they were to draft it. But it looks like Rush has other plans in mind, going for the Cassio that kind of got nerfed in a way. Cassio did lose some magic resist, which was gained by Ryze, the other really hyper-scaling mid laner that still builds items like Tyr and Rod of Ages. I wonder who's going to be winning this matchup, because Azir can be a real threat to be reckoned with, and yeah, Cassio feels really nice in the combination with Rush. And now Miasma at least gives one less way for AFK to get out of there, even though Miasma is flashable with the help of Frame 1 Cleanse. I don't know if AFK Hotel can pull it off, but it is once again something.
Yeah,
It is going to be a real difficult one.
Lockdown Rush have in this comp. What you got? Combination with that Cataclysm. Even just the Miasma, that's already incredibly difficult for AFK to deal with. Then combo that with the Solar Flare. And then the slows from Misfortune and Gangplank. It's almost impossible to get out once that Cataclysm is pressed. And especially considering, AFK, Kog'Maw's almost completely immobile. So can... we can see the Shroom and Shuffle, that was what was losing me, come out from Washby to get away from it all. But that's something that requires a little bit more setup. And, I mean, if you can do it quickly, then maybe get away, but it's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough for AFK in these team fights.
Well, when it comes to Rush right now, I'm just hoping that their communication right now just says all we have to do is play on counter engage, because they don't have to take the initial engage. It's fairly okay, but the moment this Ornn just starts blowing the Ornn horn, hopefully getting a pick, making his team fairly vulnerable, because it's also a form of disengage. All you need at that point is Miasma from Cassio to keep the Azir away from the carries, and the moment you get a single opportunity to counter engage on this Kog'Maw Lulu combination with the full wombo combo that you have drafted, it should be fairly easily closable. But with that in mind, you do have to meet all those
You got all those tick boxes you have to meet.
Yes,
And
you have to meet all those conditions, and AFK maybe has an easier time in trying to peel off for Kog'Maw, because right now you should be focusing on using Polymorph on really high damage champions like Cassio and Misfortune, preferably not wasted on a Gangplank who can just remove Scurvy in the way, or a Jarvan that already used Cataclysm and now, he cannot do anything, but the main damage output is coming from the combination Leona, Misfortune, and Cassio just having a trigger finger, just pressing E as fast as possible. It is going to be difficult for AFK. There are ways, but I'd say Rush's comp is easier to be executed, just depending, once again, on how AFK is grouping. So communication. How are you going to be positioning in team fights? How are you going to be making your pickoffs? Both teams should have realized that by now, and let's see in the execution how well it's going, because they should have noticed it by now.
Yeah, we did see last game that, Rush really, they were in these team fights, they were on point together. They knew exactly what they wanted, who they were going for. And I do think, based from a viewing point alone, the communication from Rush is a little bit more sound than what we've seen from AFK. But I
You'd
want
say
it to be
that,
proved wrong.
And then you see not actually blind in the side lane, just split pushing,
Yes,
stalling time in the hope for his team to rotate, but 1 second too late, and you're dead on the side lane.
Yes, that was, I think, their downfall for Rush last game was they really overestimated their lead sometimes and just sort of hung around when they needed a reset or where there wasn't really any reason for them to be there. Like you said, from not actually blind, saw it once or twice from Avers as well.
Well,
I don't want to see that again this game.
Maybe Dermot can give us the rundown of what Streamlabs is posting every few seconds in our Twitch chat. So what should you guys do right now, Dermot? What do you think our Twitch chat should pay attention to?
In betting, well, I cannot be a biased caster, but then again, I'd say it's probably once again going over to Rush. Like, there's a reason why Rush finished first in their groups and that AFK Hotels made it barely through. And I don't want to be trash talking AFK Hotels here, but they were fairly sloppy in their execution of the first game. I'm hoping that they have been able to reset their mental and surprise me, but just by teamfight execution, coming down to team composition, like I've already told you guys before, I'd say it should be batted towards Rush, just because in every kind of scenario, they should be the favorite by now.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there. But that being said...
Then again, Shady is once again on a level 2 ganking champion. He can do exactly the same thing as he did last time, but now he doesn't need Hex Flash. He just has Flag and Drag and can just drag Washi way down to defeat.
I really hope that AFK Hotel respect that this time. We saw in game 1, Shady was there for, I think he went, red, mid. So I think Washi has to expect this to happen again. Plus we get these wards out. And honestly, ward these more obscure places. Like last time we saw no vision in that Raptor camp behind him. And there was just Hex Slash, Hex Slash, Hex Slash. And each
but
time...
at the same time, it's not the time to become insecure right now. Because if you're going to become insecure right now, not taking trades that you normally would take, and by that postponing advantages that you would have had earlier on, because right now you're insecure because of last game, I hope you realize that the only favorable scaling matchup right now on the side of AFK Hotels, their bot lane, because Misfortune, depending on which build they're going for, because Misfortune can still be played lethality, which I think is the favorite in the matchup when they want to play around the wombo combo. Like, all you need with that is Misfortune as an ultimate bot. All she needs to do is press R when everyone's locked up. You don't necessarily need the damage from Q, auto attacks, etc. And, well, they did nerf that part, so you'd say that lethality Misfortune has the opportunity to make a comeback right here. But Cassio can scale fairly even with Azir, and Ornn is going to have great splits in decision making. Do I want to go for an 80 item laning phase? Do I need as soon as possible my Abyssal Mask against Cassio, or do I build armor first because Gangplank matchup? And Gangplank scales really well the longer this game goes on, also depending on the item choices being made by the Ornn.
So considering, we've got the really well scaling comp from Rush, of course we spoke about that Misfortune being maybe. Do you expect to see more aggressive plays coming out from AFK in this early, possibly combining AFK's Echo with Washi's Azir, maybe trying to just push back, not actually blind, and just delay, stop him hitting that Cassiopeia point as much as they can?
There's no other choice for AFK than to constantly be spam ganking and hopefully be equal to Shady, because Shady, he has a Jarvan locked in, Conqueror with that, so lethality Jarvan, in my opinion, is fairly off the table. Most players in this scenario would be going for Cinderhulk into a peeling build, so probably go for something like, what's it called, Knight's Vow, those kind of items. Going for Gargle Stoneplate to peel a little bit more for Tracer, not actually blind and Avers. And then, if AFK starts falling behind early on, there's no damage for him to be dealt on the backline, because Shady will just be there interrupting, tanking damage that's necessary, and Tracer will just be safe on the back line, just pressing R. Same thing goes for Blind, just ulting 4 men if possible, actually. And then just spam Q into E, into E, into E. Just classic Cassiopeia stuff.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how this gets played out. A lot more aggressive stance coming out from Rush Esports this time. They're looking for these early wards, getting that ward onto that Wraith camp, getting ward into Tribush
Damage
as well.
trade completed. Is Woshi actually going to take the recall here? Like, he can? No, okay, he's not going for it.
Canceling that
I
recall.
didn't think it was necessary. Also, fairly interesting. Normally, Azirs these days, you probably see them with either Lethal Tempo for the late game or Halo Blades for the early game trades, but also a decent amount of late game scaling because, well, 3 auto attacks is a decent amount of damage with those Sand Soldiers. But we're seeing Poke Arcane Comet style because else, I guess early game would be unbearable for an Azir against Cassio because early trades are going to be a pain. Just Q into Twin Fang, Twin Fang, Twin Fang. It's not the nicest of builds.
Yeah, especially once Actually Blind picks up that tier. It would be a real tough lane for Washby. When you see Wraith wards, the bot lane from AFK just doing a bit of just clearing their own jungle, making sure that Rush don't have complete vision of AFK and just pathing there.
I also like the decision in Trexifex going with the Cull this early on, which means that there's a slight health disadvantage for him towards Tracer, but it does activate Cut Down earlier on, so it gives him a little bit more damage whilst trading, just a little bit less safe, more of a gamble.
Yeah, and we'll see how that plays out. I don't expect to see... We just see a level 2 engage coming from Tonkit, getting that stun onto IP Nut, but he was like just outside his tower range there. So not going to follow up on that one too far.
Yeah, you should be really careful of Leona with the Sunlight passive in combination with the Love Taps from Misfortune, because those Love Taps can become Death Taps real soon.
Yeah, the level 2 pot, as soon as it happened, they were going in. Just to see Shady in AFK's jungle, looking for the Wraith camp. Roshby's quick to respond.
It's like last game all over again.
Yeah,
I wonder
Shady...
if AFK leaves this camp again like last time, if he's still going for it, Shady, because last time he did, but now Shady has AFK has a little bit different pathing, not ending up on his bot side, but actually ending up on his red side, blue side and red side, I meant.
Yeah, we do see Shady hovering in this top bush. They don't have vision on him here. IP Nut stepping closer and closer towards it.
She really wants to ward that.
He wants the ward. Stepping close to
Cannot
Flash.
resist.
Zenith Blade
Ooh.
from Tonkit coming in from this flag drag. A lot of damage coming out onto IP Nut, but Flash from Tracer to get that damage out, but it won't be enough as heal comes out to save IP Nut. AFK doing a lot of damage to Tracer here, looking at a dangerous spot. The flag drag coming up to knock up and get that first blood onto AFK, but Tracer will be traded in that 1-for-1. Tracefix looking to pick up that second kill, double kill landing and onto Tom Kick, but Shady will be finishing that off with a flag and drag. But honestly, goes straight with that teleport. They're so low, but they're looking like they're gonna get away here. Actually, Washi with those Sand Soldiers, not actually blind, having to walk away there. And Ava's trying to pressure, but he's in a 1v3 situation here. And will be just melted by the flamethrower from Ornn. The knockup actually catching Naturally Blind as well, whilst it finishes Ava's as well. And that is going to be a 4-for-3 overall, I think? 4-for-2 even.
4-for-2, yeah, and what a mess of a fight was that. I don't even know why not actually Blind walked back into that, because there was no mana at his expense, and well, his HP bar was fairly diminished at that point. Also gets caught in the knockup from the charge of Ornn, and then in the end, all you do is give another kill to a team that looked to be behind during the fight, but all the teleport calls being fairly on point, and because the fight got unnecessarily extended. Also, really nice damage coming out from the Kog'Maw with the Acathian surprise. I am also really surprised by the outcome.
I mean, yeah, look at what those goals went as well. 2 of those kills going on to Tracifix on that Kog'Maw. We see as well 1 going on to Washby, so giving him that just a little bit of a lead in that mid lane as well. And to my disbelief, we're actually having a gold lead for the Ornn in the top lane, which I was really expecting Avas to just go for the punishes, but with that just mess of a skirmish around the bot lane, really paying off for AFK Hotel.
Yeah, some risks you have to take, and some risks you just have to leave behind whenever possible. Dragon, in the meantime, has spawned onto the Rift. Huge damage already coming up from the double up on Tracer. Going
Tracer
with
and
the
Tom Kick.
double Doran's build that we haven't seen for a while.
Yeah, double Dawn's just trying to, well, I would say pressure the lead, but Tracer doesn't have the lead here. They're looking almost identical in gold, actually, about 30 in between. But also, you're actually getting that knock up onto Ava's, a lot of damage coming out.
Oh no!
Did you see this ball? Engage coming out, AFK God catching out Tom Kick there. A lot of damage coming out, but just seeing this blade back in to slow them down so that Tracer can get away.
It looks like Kog'Maw has been a sleeper pick for a while right now. Let's see if Shady can do something still on the bot lane. I also want to say something about the top lane because my oh no actually came out because Odyssey Godscript was winning the trade on the top lane and then he auto-attacks the brittled minion, which leaves the trade fairly equal now in the aftermath.
Yeah, we do see First Dragon going over to AFK Hotel.
Oh, where
This is
have
a
I seen this one
completely different
before?
performance from last game.
Yes and no. Like objective-wise, it's fairly the same, but fight-wise, didn't feel like Rush was on the same page like they were before. But still, in the end, they're only 600 gold behind. It's not that big of a lead that you'd expect at this point with a 3k or like 3k with a 3-kill lead, mostly on the Kog'Maw right now.
Yeah, he's actually only 200 gold up. But yeah, despite being 3 kills, 2 kills ahead of Tracer, he's actually down 15 CS. And that number's only rising. You see that large wave crashing into Tracer in that bot lane. An early lane swap coming out. We see Odyssey also being sent bot lane. Tricks Fix and IP not going top lane into Avis here.
AFK actually preparing for the counter gank, leaving his
we
movers
see-
behind. That's actually a really smart move, but he is going to be... Nah. Looks like
Not going
Tom
for
Kick,
Tracking
There you go.
Shady's strong pathing really well there. They didn't actually have a ward. He was just there and ready for that counter gank.
Lane
Shade-
swap already came in actually on AFK Hotel side, so that means that they really want this Herald next, so they really have their objective game at very least on point.
Yeah, we do see most of Rush even rotating up for Herald, getting some wards out from Tom Kick
Ooh.
as well. But they're all hovering. Tom Kick is spotted by that pink ward there.
No, they're just going to equal, or at least match, the top and bot lane trade-off. I think it's also rather funny that the more Doran's blades are being built right now by Tracer, the more Trixie Fix can counter it by the fact he has cut down.
We haven't seen any more. He's only had the 2. Had 2 before picking up the BF sword now. So there's a big spike in the damage from Tracer. And all that vision that Rush have secured for that Herald, it's all almost gone. We do see that AFK are hovering towards it. Actually, AFK starting the Herald already.
And don't forget that
Rush needs
Odyssey is here as well, and Evers is nowhere to be seen, so this might prove difficult to fight for the side of Rush.
Avis has not got TP. Trix Fix is there. I think
but
he thinks
Trix
it's just Tom
Fix-
Kick there. He doesn't know where Shady's there. But in this whole time,
I
Herald
don't
is just
like the positioning here. Like he was kind of walking out of position there on its own, and sure there is a quick rotation coming out from Odyssey and AFK there, but if IPNet is not there, going 100 to 0 against the Misfortune Leona combination with Jarvan on the side is not the hardest job to be done.
No, he was standing in a very, very risky spot there, especially with the shutdown gold. But he will be getting away safely. And a Herald picked up by AFK on the Echo as well.
Yeah, instantly trading lanes back. Recall's getting interrupted, but it's not that big of a deal. AFK now actually on the bot on the bot side, but
I'm not surprised though with
They-
that huge wave there. Ava's not having TP ready. I actually see almost 30 CS difference between Odyssey and Ava's. So
Yeah,
even
like-
though Odyssey has that kill of gold, he's still 600-700 gold behind.
I'd say the play there was probably to look for somewhere to throw Herald down, but since the recalls got interrupted on the side of Trixie Fix and IPNet, they really didn't have a different choice than throwing AFK on the bot side, unless they wanted to throw away a fairly big minion wave, like you already pointed out. So now I'm just hoping that AFK will show some preparations, show a plan to make that Herald play happen. Because if he's just going to be sitting on it, it's not necessarily the most worth call to make.
Yeah. Honestly, I'd like to see them put it down I mean, we do see what dragons spawning in just under a minute now.
And Avers is pathing towards bot, but your top lane was recalling to go there again, and you have teleport available. And at the same time, oh, Odyssey just barely missed timing.
He does catch out top kick there, just stalling the recall. Got 33 seconds on that Drake. AFK is sitting in that bush. I actually don't think, yeah, Avis hasn't got any vision in there.
Oh no.
But the Herald going down now. First plating going to be dropping, but we do see Tracer and Shady coming in from this blue buff side. Possible 3v3. Tracer going for this very aggressive positioning. Flag and Drag coming over the wall. Flash into the Cataclysm. Trixie Fish and IP both flashing away from that. And AFK doing a lot of damage on Shady there. It's going to be absolutely popped. And the wall coming out from Wishby to push Tracer away from the turret. It will be flashing back into that bullet time. We're looking at the 4v3, but side of Russia all looking really healthy. AFK looking to just peel away from this now. Yeah, they got their win.
No, practically they traded 2 for 1 since Odyssey went really, really greedy on the top and actually managed to get himself killed by the tower.
They are looking actually to interrupt this. A nice ultimate coming up from Actually Blind, getting the stun down onto all 3. Flashing forward, and Trixie was just going to melt him down. In the meantime, Tracer and Avis will be picking up that kill onto AFK in that Dragon Pit. AFK without a smite now, but knockup landing onto Tracer, being forced away by Odyssey God Scrub. Tonka actually going for this engage without the rest of his team there, trying to take down Trixie Fix. And we see that EQ from Shady to pick up the double kill landing onto Tracer. And Trixie Fix and IPNut are just left to run for their lives as Rush Esports turn that fight into their favor.
Yeah, they just extended the fight whenever necessary. Maybe a little bit of a greedy play coming out from not actually blind, but in the end, they do take up the upper hand, trading really well, securing themselves the second dragon of the game. So that's going to be 1-1 tied in total with dragons. And let's see what the Elemental Rift has to show us. It's
an Infernal Rift.
Yes.
Another thing to notice is we saw Avis having that huge gold lead on Odyssey God Scrub. He just picked up the 500 gold bounty on Trixie Fix. So top lane now, Avis sitting on 5.2k total gold, only 3.6k for Odyssey God Scrub.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a, what we call it, Roblox oof situation.
Actually, people cancelled.
Okay.
Fix.
That's
obviously not
interesting.
Get the reset there. They want to crash this wave in, but yeah, he's not going to recall. We'll be catching that kind of wave as well.
They just face checking brushes and hope that no one's there. And
you actually see Xenoblade landing onto Odyssey God Scrub there. Trade's doing a lot of damage. And possibly looking for that tower dive tongue kick.
Yeah,
going for
classic.
That. Solar Flare into the bullet time, and there is nothing Odyssey God Scrub can do there, as he is hidden to the ground, just impaled by bullets. That'll be a 5-1 on Tracer right now. It does look like we're going to have a small race for this first tower. AFK looking for this bot tower. Rush looking for that top side. It does look like it will be going over to AFK. Yeah, they were still 2 platings away. So a little bit of extra bonus gold going on to Trixie Fix there, just to try and keep them in line with Tracer.
Yeah, the gold lead is already back over to Rush. Didn't really expect anything else at the start of the game. They did have one messy fight, but they managed to turn it out fairly easily. It's just not actually blind. That's not necessarily behind on the Azir. Azir mostly sitting on AP items right now, dealing a decent amount of poke with that arcane comment, but attack speed nowhere to be seen thus far. Might prove to become a problem in the near future.
Yeah, and we will see. We do have what? Herald spawning in 10 seconds. It does look like Rush are slowly positioning towards this. Shady's actually completely out of vision there. They have no vision in this bottom side jungle. Tracer using that plant will reveal that someone's over there to the side of AFK Hotel.
Yeah, and Avers having the teleport available means that he does have the upper hand the moment this is going to get contested, since Odyssey is just here, standing menacingly, not having ultimate available, probably having to force ultimate if they want to cancel.
Yeah, it's looking like this is going to go away uncontested towards Rush.
They want to make the pick though.
And bot lane from AFK Hotel looking like they're going to... That's one away. And IP up will not be anywhere. That recall not channeling fast enough. And actually getting away. They're trying to donate that kill to Tracer by the looks of it.
Yeah, with the final breath ever said that I'm going to help my team, and in return for my death, I will pick up an assist, and that's completely worth it in my opinion. So really well done by Evers, noticing his own mistake, but at least making up for it by helping the rest of his team out.
Yeah, as we did see, whilst that top fight was going on, Avers was picked up in that bottom river just outside Dragon.
Also, interesting pickup by the side of the Azir. Ninja Tabai against the Gangplank and the Misfortune, whilst your lane opponent is going to be this Cassio, and well, that's going to be a lot of damage you're taking on yourself right there.
We actually flash Cataclysm into the boat tower. IP not forced to flash away as well as Tricks Fix. But Shady will just get taken down by the tower.
I am really confused by the fact that that play would have been great if only there was a stopwatch on the side of Shady, but there was no stopwatch to switch aggro. So maybe a tip for next time, buy stopwatch if you want to make that play, because it will help you a lot.
Yeah, that felt like a slightly miscalculated play from Rush. You know, we had Soulfire actually was still available from Tom Kick, but actually just Shady melted by the tower, not respecting the fact that that's a 6-2 or 5-2 at the time. Kog'Maw with a completed balk, he's still going to do a lot of damage.
It's Kog'Maw. Percentage HP damage is the game, and he is the name of it. Looking at Shady right now, is going for a fairly tanky build, already having picked up the Spectre Skull. Looks like to go for an adaptive helmet against the other attacks from the Kog'Maw, and of course from the Azir Sand Soldiers. I'd say I get it, but you're playing Jarvan. You want to keep making those plays that you just did without failing. So please buy a stopwatch. You can really use it, and you can build it into a Gargoyles.
Yeah, just 600 gold, that could have turned the whole play around. You see the Herald being put mid down, and it's going to open up that first mid tower. As Dragon has now spawned, will be our first Infernal of the game. Both teams positioning towards it. Or should be popping that tower down in the mid lane just to slow down the wave. AFK have no vision in this. Okay, Blue Trinket going out, Flash seeing the blade not landing, Call of Fortune coming out to try and disengage this fight. But actually landing that knock up onto Tom Kick way too far forward, and will get picked up by Washby on the side there. Sand Soldier's going to throw forward, get a lot of damage onto not actually blind there. In a 1-for-0, another very aggressive play from Rush that just
I
didn't
don't
pay
know
off.
where the hurry is coming from, and well, the fight continues, not necessarily in favor.
We do see the flag drag into Cataclysm, into the bullet time, absolutely melting the side of AFK Hotel, but Washby left alone is actually struggling to finish off, not actually blind, will just use those String Fangs and just that fully stacked Conqueror to keep himself alive. What a combo.
Yeah, first of all, beautifully executed combination there of Cataclysm, Bullet Time, and Petrifying Gaze that completely shut down the backline for the side of AFK Hotel. They still had the backup with Washby, who almost cleaned up the rest of the team for Rush, but at the very least not actually blind, can spam the E button on the Cassio whenever someone's poisoned, and Avers was still there to deal a decent amount of damage. I am still rather confused by Tom Kick, why he had to pull the trigger that badly. You're ahead, you can take your time, and like I've said before, you don't have to pull the trigger. Like, as you can see, the counter engage was so much better than the initial engage from Tom. All Tom did was not necessarily secure the fight, if anything, make it any harder, giving himself less opportunities to peel the team from Washby, because as we noticed, Washby was the main damage threat there in the back of the fight. So hopefully next time they will realize that they have all the time they need. Just let the play come down to AFK Hotel. They have to force it. They have to make the plays. You're already in the driver's seat. The moment Odyssey pushes the Ornhorn, all you have to do is do exactly what you did last time, but now with Tom against Washby.
Yeah, just imagine that fight with the Solar Fillet there. It would have been so much more one-sided. And honestly, instead of having two members of Rush fall, it could have been the 5-for-0 or the 4-for-0. Do you see both teams hovering around AFK? Well, he was looking for a pick onto Tom Kick there, but going to be backing off. Do you see Ava's just pushing that bot lane hard with teleport available? AFK going to be sending Washby to match him, also having his teleport ready. But Baron actually started by Shady here.
Interesting.
Not a lot of vision from the side of AFK. But we see
Oh.
a Hex Flash from Tom Kick. But it's not going to be enough. It's that living artillery. And AFK got going in for that engage. Bullet time coming out to disengage, keeping Tom Kick alive. Cool that Forge God. Going to be fairly inconsequential as Rush Esports are just looking to disengage. They're looking to play this slow with Ava still in that bottom lane, still pushing. And AFK aren't answering him at all. Instead of going to be starting up that Baron buff. Doing it decently fast with a combination of Kog'Maw and Azir there. Already on half health. Shady and Tracer hovering in the side, looking to slow them down. Avis has arrived, TP being used. But a nice one from AFK will be picking off Tracer. Shady caught in the middle of them. Moshwi just using that sandwall to keep himself safe. Petrifying Gaze not landing. And they're just free to just keep slowly melting Rush down. Moshwi and AFK looking pretty low. Okay, gonna actually lied are looking to pressure it, but it's looking like they're gonna be recalling safe.
Yeah, all I can wonder right now is what happened to Rush. They look completely out of sync. They're picking fights without their support even being there. Tom still had the recall. Then Shady engages for not necessarily any reason. Don't know where Tracer was walking up. If you want to go for the steal, just let Shady do it. You can, in the meantime, pressure the rest of the lanes, forcing the enemy of a major objective if necessary. And they're just completely throwing fights as unnecessary.
That being said, Not Actually Blind is actually sitting doing that Baron by himself. Okay, now there to support, but AFK, they have to know. They're hovering in the top side jungle as we see the rest of Rush, all in this area. Tomki is actually super low. But Baron will be finished. And it looks like Rush are going to be looking for this disengage. Mazma being thrown down. A little bit of BM from Shady there.
This is exactly what you want to get out of it. You just want to sync recall now, just reset with the team and make a plan to go either for 1-4 or 1-3-1 depending on your composition. Having Not Actually Blind sitting on the teleport, you can potentially go for 1-3-1 depending on Avers wanting to stick with the team or also wanting to have a split push lane. But Avers, you have Baron buff. You don't have to be in the enemy jungle. You can just upgrade minions by standing next to them.
And that is exactly what he's going to go through in that bot lane. Get as much pressure as you can. 40 seconds till that Infernal spawns.
Shady, you have Baron buff. You don't have to do jungle. You can make minions big and purple.
But the jungle camps.
Why are we clearing jungle? You have Baron. Make the power play. Like, now you're just wasting valuable minutes. Like, there's 1 minute already of Baron and they've done nothing with it thus far. I don't get this. Why would you even want Baron if you're not going to be pressuring anything?
Especially considering how much gold they put in.
They're literally going to be wasting Baron on doing Dragon. Just give the enemy Dragon and run it down the base. You have Baron. You literally have Baron.
And we see all 5 members are here too. No lanes are Baroned up. And it does feel like Rush are putting this flank. Abel's looking on the side here.
You have teleport. Just pressure something. You can TP in if necessary, even if you want to contest Dragon. It's not necessary, but...
At AFK Hotel are playing this slow as they should be, just watching the Baron tick down. But I say that, Odyssey God going for that Call of Forge, and we see the Cataclysm into the bullet time, and we just see the whole comp of AFK Hotel melt in a 4-0. AFK God just trying to get away, but the Flying Dragon from Shady will slow him down to a 5-0. And maybe now we see something happen with that Baron buff.
Did they win the fight? Yes, they did. Did they execute their composition? Yes, they did. But why do we play teamfight compositions if it's not to take Baron and then end the game with it, instead of forcing another teamfight with your teamfight composition whilst you have the objective you need to finish the game? That's the only question I have. Like, sure, combination, perfectly executed. You instantly killed the entire enemy team. There was no way for AFK to do anything there. Even had to early smite the dragon, so there was no smite still coming out either. So you completely dominated the team fight, but you didn't need the team fight. You already had the objective why you run a team fight composition. Now all you have to do is kill the enemy nexus.
Yeah, it does feel like a slight misplay from Rush. But at the same time, they did pick up the dragon, they do pick up the mid inhibitor, and the 5-0. Whilst it could have been played better,
But at the same
they
time,
still
they are
got
going
everything
to
they
make,
needed.
yeah, but like they're going to make a 26-minute game because right now they could have been knocking on the enemy Nexus doors because of Baron buff. It's going to time out any yeah, like it's
Already
already
gone.
timed out. So now you have to wait for the next team fight to contest the next Baron so you can actually finish the game.
Yep, and that's
So
what,
you're going to be
2:45
stalling,
Baron?
but like you're going to be stalling a 26-minute game into a 31-minute game just because you didn't utilize the reason why you picked your team composition to the max, which
And
is
as we
kind of
know,
weird.
The further we get into the game, the better Trixie Fix gets on that Cogmore.
They're
see
just
3
giving
items
free,
already?
free comeback potential right now to AFK hotels, even though, oh well,
I
yeah.
walking blindly into the jungle. They're just whacking with the flag. Say badly, Lee.
And at the same time, look at how the Ornn is suffering when it comes to CS. Almost 80 CS behind on his lane partner, already
Yeah,
on
and that
70.
equates to, well, the whole difference. We see Odyssey God on 7,500, Avis on 12,300 gold. So that's around a 5k difference between them. That's like almost the entire goal difference for the two teams. And Shady looking for that flag drive to catch AFK out. He looks like he'll be getting away fairly safely. I'm not sure there's a lot AFK Hotel can do right now.
They can stall and wait for the next team fight. That's practically what they're
That's
doing.
about it. We do see that Rush are trying to pressure this. Ava's getting a lot of damage at a 2-level lead and
Yeah.
that 5k gold lead onto Odyssey Godscrap. But he's the only one that can match him. Because Ava's in such a strong position right now.
If the Ornn was equal in gold right now to Evers, or at least close to equal, he could have had his Abyssal Mask upgraded and a render wins against the sheer amount of crit being built on the side of Evers and Tracer. That could have meant so much for peeling for Trixie Fix, and right now it's just, yeah, a little bit unlucky that the top matchup went the way it went, even with a really great start from them in that really messy first team fight. And all they can do now is just sit out in base, wait for one mistake or misposition to be made by Rush, but the moment they win a team fight, they really want to go for the next Baron, which is going to be spawning within 36 seconds. Yeah. And that is the major win condition right now, if they utilize it correctly, and please do not go for the soul. Please just finish the game at that point.
Yep, and there's not really a whole lot that AFK Hotel can do here. They have no vision, not a whole lot of pressure in these team fights either. And we see that Azir Tower falling, leaving that open mid lane. Super's still rolling in. Actually do have Dragon coming up in a minute as well, so Rush really, they have the choice. They can Baron or take the Infernal. Honestly, it feels like it's pretty obvious that they're going to go for that Baron. Yep, pings coming out from both teams actually for this Baron buff. But FK Hotel not going to follow up, just going to slowly take it safe through their jungle, make sure they're not going to get picked off by the Death Bush.
They have everything they need. Call of the Forge God, Emperor's
Hex Slash coming up
Divide.
and plunk it into that Solar Flare. Bullet Time coming out. Trace Fist will get melted by that combo, and AFK trying to just get to the backline, but will get taken down by Tracer and not actually blind. Now Odyssey Gold Scrub and Washby and IP left just in unfortunate position. Odyssey Gold Scrub will be the one to fall, getting Washby and IP away with their lives.
Yeah. Trixie Fix barely overstepping, having to force the cleanse really early, and then IP nothing he can do to keep him alive, and this is the call to be made to finish off the game.
Yeah, they don't need Baron, they don't need the Infernal Soul. They can melt down these Nexus Towers now. And Tomkit going for that flash into the Zenith Blade, getting the flash from Washby, but he's going for that engage into the wall. A lot of damage onto Tracer, but it's just not enough, and Washby will fall alongside that first Nexus Tower. Ava's actually going to fall down to Trixie Fix with that Living Artillery. Trixie picking up a second kill onto Tom Kick. Flash is being forced from Rush Esports just to get away. Trixie's picking up a lot of gold there.
Yeah, this might prove difficult because if Tracer and not actually blind stay for this dragon and they do get picked off by AFK, this game might actually turn, and I will call it on everything that is called the Baron mishap.
AFK looking for that steal, but Shady going for that 100. He actually gets the steal, denies the soul, using that Chrono break even to get away, denying the Infernal Soul from Rush Esports. It's not game winning, but it's gonna help them stall out a little bit longer as their mid inhib has respawned as well.
It is the freebie they were looking for, the opening that Rush left them when they didn't utilize their Baron to the maximum extent. And look at the build coming out right now from Trixie Fix, finally being able to complete that dash dance, giving him a little bit more survivability than he had before. And right now, if he gets jumped on, the combination of Dash Dance and the Might of the Ruined King might actually keep him alive long enough to deal out so much damage that can keep him alive even longer, because Dash Dance, just hitting him off other sources than just auto attacks.
Yep.
This might be the turn. And it's going to be real rough if Rush throws this one away just because of that one Baron play that was not necessary.
Speaking of Baron plays, we do see it started up by Shady here. TP coming out from Odyssey God Scrub. And they're going to back away from this Baron. A little bit more respect coming out for AFK Hotel.
Ooh, ADC recalled. If they make a pick right now, this might prove difficult to damage.
We see not actually blind, paying on the way to bot lane. Does have TP ready. So it looks like they're looking to play this as slow as they want.
So the combination has finally arrived.
But Call to the Forge coming out. Tom King and Tracer just on catching to get picked up by that. Shady on the side, but Tom King and Tracer just caught up in this top side, but Shady going to be denying the entrance to that backline. And we do see that Tom King going to be taken down there. Not actually blind, melting through the backline of AFK. And Tracer just left to finish Washwi with the help of Shady. And the 5-for-1, I felt like it was in AFK's hands at the start of that fight. But it just crumbled.
Tunnel vision, my friend. That was two players going for the backline of Rush not communicating what they were doing, then Shady being able to jump on the backline for free. And there's only one cleanse in the hands of Trixie Fix. There's no, what's it called, Mikael's Crucible on this Lulu to help him out even further. So the moment that the Petrifying Gaze hit, it was kind of over for him. The last stand of AFK Hotel. Really nice try, even though there were a lot of opportunities to be taken from some miscommunication within Rush. And, well, they do deserve the win, but it could have been a lot cleaner than this one.
Yep, that is a 2-for-0 for Rush. As we said, a lot better played this time from the side of AFK. AFK Hotel even. But it just wasn't quite enough to take down just the force that is Rush Esports.
I don't want to be the negative one, even though I've been kind of tilted since the Baron play. I've constantly be coming back onto it. But is the real reason why this one ended up being so close the fact that AFK Hotel was playing so much better, or Rush was for some reason not the Rush that we've seen in the first game?
I mean, yes, I do have to agree. There were some points in the game where, I was with you. We were looking at Rush like, what are you doing? This is...
I mean, I have to back you up on this one. It was, if we recall correctly, first place versus fourth place. So you expect Rush to dominate this series, and, well, they did win. But as you pointed out multiple times, and I can see that too, there was a really, really good chance here of a comeback. I think the biggest difference was actually the mid lane. Because as soon as this Cassiopeia showed up in that last team fight, obviously the tides turned. But even before that, you could see how close it was and how much damage output there was coming from this Kog'Maw. But the second he got picked off, of course, all of the damage fell flat because tank top lane Dion is not going to do much. Then you have, for example, Ava's Gangplank, who's going to output damage as well. So it was just triple damage composition versus double damage composition with one of the carries being behind, meaning the Kog'Maw has to carry all of that load on his own shoulders. And yeah, that was, I think, a bit too much for him.
Yeah, perhaps unlucky, perhaps just left out in the open with the opportunities they still managed to get from Rush. I'm hoping to get some insight on the Baron play in the interview with Rush.
Well, sure. Who do you want to interview? You have a choice here between every one of the players and even the coaches, so just whoever you want to get in.
I'd love to actually get the coach's perspective on what's the team doing at those kind of situations, since, well, it's not like you have to speak it through. I think it's fairly clear that your win condition with the team composition that's based around team fighting is take Baron, win game. But at the same time, as a coach, you're not part of the team when they're playing. Like you cannot
Well,
make
we
the
already
call
have
out.
the coach on board if you want. He's ready to go.
Okay.
So we just need one more player. Just tell me anyone. You have Ava, Shady, Not Actually Blind, Twazers, or Tom Kick. Who do you want to interview, my man?
Yoria, pick something fun.
I'd actually quite like to see Shady.
Okay, sure. Let's
The
bring Shady
jungler.
on. There we go. So Magic and Shady are gonna join us here. Magic being the coach of Wash Esports. But before we go into that real quick, waiting for them to get into the waiting channel, I will be opening the poll for our MVP of this match. As always, you can only vote for the MVP of the winning team, meaning at this time it's going to be Gangplank at the top lane here with Avas, Shady with that Jarvan in the jungle, Not Actually Blind on that Cassiopeia in the mid lane, Tracer on the MF on the bot lane, and of course Tom Kick here on this flashy Leona in the bottom lane support role. Get your votes in right now. Excuse me. And while we wait for them to get in here, we can already welcome Magic, welcome my man, and of course Shady, welcome to you as well.
Greetings.
Greetings, fellow humans.
Greetings, Daddy.
How are you doing, Magic? Long time no talk.
I'm a busy man, what can I say?
Yeah, a busy man carrying your team to victory with Dwarfs, or do you think it's player-based?
Coach diff.
Coach diff, okay. Shady called it, but yeah, both of you welcome. I'll let, well, Ioria and Dermot conduct this interview. You will be interrogated into the deepest of details.
As long as we're not getting a prison sentence at the end.
I think maybe to play semifinals, that's your sentence. There we go.
Damn right.
I feel like we have to start with the Dragon play after you got that Baron. What was... I actually like to hear from Shady first. What was the call there?
Wait, which dragon?
So in that final game, game 2, after you got Baron and you rotated straight down for the Dragon and just jungle camps and weren't really using that Baron at all. I'm interested to see what the call was there.
I mean, like generally, like dragons are really OP and soul is like really important. So even if we have like the Baron, we just value gaining the soul, really. So like, I mean, sure, I think the Baron is wasted to some extent, but if the dragon's free, like we take those, you know.
I mean, from what I was watching, because I was only watching the game, I wasn't actually listening to the comms. The thing I was thinking is you spent so long sitting around that dragon area, waiting for it to spawn, where you could have just been pushing top lane, you could have been pushing bot lane, you know, just using that Baron buff, and then just push your waves out so you had complete prio over their jungle, so you could have done it that way.
Yeah, I totally agree, because we actually saw, I think it was not actually blind on Cassio, it had a teleport available. So there could have been some pressure in anywhere, really.
Yeah, I mean, it's one for the VOD review, you know. It's one, definitely.
So, yeah, it worked out for you guys in the end.
In the end, it did, but it did leave up like a huge gap for opportunities for your opponent. Since I think it's fairly standard for coaches that when you draft a team fighting composition, that your win condition is Baron, because you win the team fight, then you pick Baron, and that allows you to run down the enemy base. So going for the dragons, you can probably postpone them, right? Because you have complete priority over your enemy team when having Baron, and if they take the dragon, then you've just ran down their base since there's no one to defend.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know, like, for sure we probably could have played it better. I think the second game was a lot less cleaner. I think the first game we played pretty clean, but the second game was definitely a lot more scrappy and messier. Like, as you said, like, there's definitely errors we made, you know?
Tell that to the coach who was watching you.
Okay,
Well then,
go ahead.
let's
Dermot.
just keep it positive a little bit, because I got slightly tilted because of the Baron play, so I'm sorry for that. Game number 1, fairly cleanly played out. The early game really important, and I think Shady and Magic, of course, because you're the coach, I think you're setting up most of the plans for a game. You've practiced beforehand to play set with Hex Flash and the cheesy ganks on mid lane.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things we said. We were just like, so
Yeah,
for the first draft, I think we had, hang on, I have it here somewhere. What did we pick?
Your combo would be set and the Z in that sort of mid jungle.
Oh yeah, it was a Galio mid, wasn't it?
Yeah, into a Galio.
So basically, the plan with that game when we drafted it, we would like, so basically if we hit like 20 to 25 minutes and we're even, we're in a pretty good state. So as much as I'm sure they didn't like us saying it, we kind of just had to tell them, just like chill out somewhere in the early game and just scale up. But one thing we told them to do was just track the Olaf and just keep an eye on the Galio to see where he's going. And if you can just control those two, then eventually you'll just win, because Olaf couldn't do anything in the early game nearly.
Yeah, you had vision in his jungle from minute 1. It was you had Ward up in that Wraith camp, so you were tracking really, really nicely.
So in the first draft, at some point we did see a Shen hover into the Rumble lock-in at the very end, and then the Zed pick. What was going through your minds right there in the draft to go off Shen, even though it is a great counter to Clad, but then still going for, I guess, the comfort pick Rumble?
I think that was maybe. I mean, we took so long over that pick because we knew long before we even picked Rumble or Shen we were going to pick one or the other. And we just had like a minute conversation there, just like, right, do you want to pick Rumble or do you want to pick Shen? And we eventually just said to Avers, which one do you want to play? He said, I'm more comfortable against Kled with a Rumble. So we just said, okay, we'll just give mid. I mean, the first draft was kind of obvious what they were trying to draft, actually, because in our eyes, they were either, if we picked Cassio, they were just going to straight up pick Acidin. And if we picked Zed, they were just going to pick Galio. So we pretty much knew, depending on what we picked, they were going to pick in the mid lane. So that kind of just made it more obvious. But...
Yep. I mean, it depended on what mid wanted to play, because we would, like, the thing with that team was they tended to have a lot of one-tricks on that team, so we banned out the 3 we didn't, not that we didn't think we could, like, deal with those, but we just felt like they were a little less easier to deal with, so we left the Zoe up, and we really wanted them to pick the Zoe. Obviously they didn't, because they probably were like, yeah, they're trying to bait us into picking Zoe. But, like, obviously Assassins, like, we had a few picks, like, in mind that we wanted to go into Zoe, so we were just sort of waiting on the mid pick, and we were like, alright, what do you want to pick mid? And then he was like, I want to play Zed, and if he wants to play Zed, we need AP top, so we just go Rumble.
Okay, that sounds fairly easy and thought through, but yeah, maybe another question from Twitch chat coming, maybe Magic, you can answer this for Avas here, since he is the man of the question. It's gonna be, will we get to see Avas Camille next series? So next series being the semifinals. You think that is a possibility?
Wait and see.
Wait and see is the answer here, so no spoilers for that one. But yeah, so second game a bit shaky, if we may say so. First game very clean, and now looking at, we'll hop quickly over to the standings for you guys to also remind you. And if you look at the current standings, you are now in the semifinals awaiting ELG Sports versus the Invincibles. So which one would you like to play, and which one do you think you're going most likely to play against?
I mean...
Invincibles.
Invincibles.
They're just too OP. They're smurfing.
They are.
Okay. Not sure if you guys are trolling or not, but we'll take that answer for now. And in the other quarterfinals that is actually running still, Servus Esports versus CMist, they tied the series. Who do you think will come on top of that one? Do you have any prediction of that quarterfinal, CMist versus Servus Esports?
I mean, in my opinion, if they got their Silas again, Silas.
Yeah. For those who don't know, Silas went 20 kills, 1 assist and 2 deaths, 1 death and 2 assists in that first game, totally destroying the enemy. So yeah, looking forward to see the end and the outcome of that one. And then of course Element, Stray Dogs and Timely Grace, those two coming from your group stage, if I'm not mistaken. Timely Grace, no wait, you
Element.
yeah, Element is, sorry, Element second place in your group. So you're looking to meet them in the finals, or you think it will be Timely Grace taking them out as the underdog here?
I mean, I know Shay's going to say something.
I don't think Timely, like, I think the standings are really deceptive, and I don't think Timely Grace is underdog in that. I think it's like the other way around. I think Timely Grace should like smack them.
Okay, sure. Well, we're looking forward to that then. Tomorrow we'll have a vote for which quarterfinals will be streaming, so hop over to discord.me/connectingesports if you want to participate in that vote. It will be in the announcement channel and of course in our TG Diamond channels down below. So yeah, thank you so much for joining, boys. Maybe any prediction on who's going to be winning this whole tournament? Of course, you can say yourself. No shame in that.
Invincibles.
Okay, well, the Invincibles have been called out.
Now, Shady, what are you doing?
The Invincibles called out for the finalists here. Well, we'll be following that one around and see if that becomes true. Thank you so much for joining. Best of luck in your next games, and congratulations once again on winning today's game 2-0. Oh my god, Shadow is coming through here. Shady will get banned once more in Twitch chat just for that. Magic, Shady, thank you so much. See you guys next time.
So
Still.
So Dermot and Ioria, also a big thank you to you boys before we head into the offline screen here. So we'll be saying thank you so much for tuning in the Twitch chat, and thank you so much for casting today. It was a blast listening to your voices and your analyzers, and of course your play-by-play casting here as everything developed on the Rift. Yeah, two interesting games.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I mean, yeah, first of all, thank you for having me on. Yeah, I actually really liked how both games played out. Of course, we had some interesting plays come out in each game where myself and Derek were like a bit unsure as to what entirely was the thought process, but no. Congratulations to Rush Esports for that 2-0, getting them to the semi-finals.
Well, since it is your first time casting here, we'll also shout out quickly your social media, since you're not linked down below in the Twitch panel. So I think it is Ioria on Twitch with 2 A's.
Yes,
so I'm just gonna, you can...
/Ioria. I will put...
Throw the link in the chat.
Yeah, you can try if it works. There we go. That is her Twitch channel. Sorry, whatever. You can follow her and watch her and whatever. And also Dermot, of course, he's a well-known face around here, so he should be down below in the panels for the casters. Just click on that and you can give him some love for today's casting. And everybody has been accustomed to our stream this season, knows exactly what time it is. I think Ava's already typed it in chat. It is time, because it is time for the crab wave. So I hope you have your crabs ready. If not, put them in the air and get some from google.com, because they will definitely give you a crab emote if you just Google that. So yeah, with that tune coming in behind in the scenes, we will thank once more everybody in the Twitch chat for following, casting, in the Twitch chat for following, chatting, and of course cheering for the teams. Thank you so much, Dermot. Thank you so much, Ioria. See you hopefully soon. And bye-bye. Connect Esports wishes you a good evening.